Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a special comparison between two Mojaves. We've got the 6S and the 4S. Let's figure out which Mojave is the right one for you. So for this comparison, I'll mostly be talking about the features, the differences. I'll do a top speed test and I'll weigh them and everything I usually do on these comparisons. I'll probably not do as much bashing. Today is blazing hot outside. The last thing I want to do is stand in the beating sun with no shade and drive these things around and get all dusty. Yeah, not interested. Maybe at another video I'll do more bashing with this, but if you check out Just Bashinet's video, he did one on these two trucks. He actually inspired me to do this review by his comparison, so check that out. But for today, let's get into the details. I know a lot of people do go back and forth between which of these trucks to buy, and that's because they're both really good trucks, so it's kind of hard to decide. They're both very similar too, but there's some key differences. Let's go through them. Starting with the most obvious, the looks. It's a really tough call. I personally think I like this Mojave 4S look a little better. It also comes with an Ivan Stewart style white and red and orange top. I like this one a little better, but this one's also really cool. I prefer the green that I have here, so I've got my two favorites of the two styles. But let's ask the expert what she thinks about it. All right, so which one of these do you think looks better?
This one.
All right, what makes you say that?
Because it's brighter and has stars.
Okay, you love those stars. All right, so she picks the 6S Mojave as the best looks. Thank you, bye.
Bye.
So there you have it, it's a tie. She likes this one, I like that one, it's a toss-up. I think that's fair to say that they both look cool. Now for size. Now this is considered a 7th scale, while this is considered an 8th scale. They're very similar in size. This is a big truck here, so let's start with the length. I'll go from bumper to bumper, so to speak. We've got about 28 inches here. Now for the 4S, about almost 26 inches. So really just a little over 2 inches longer on this. Let's check it, the wheelbase. I'll go from center to center because these wheels are actually a little bit smaller on the 4S. Almost 17 inches from center of wheel to center of wheel on the 6S and 15 inches on the 4S. So again, about 2 inches. As far as width, I go from wheel well to wheel well, the outside of it. Can add a little over 14 inches, and for this one, about 12.5 inches. So again, very similar in those differences. That's a unique one. Okay, so let's check the weight. Now for this one, I need to mention I have this big old bash bar on that. If you like that and you want one, check out AW Machining. He makes them. I've made a video about that. I know how much that bash bar weighs, so when I weigh this, I'll subtract that. So we'll start with this Mojave 4S. The bash bar underneath weighs 7 ounces. Okay, easy enough. So it comes in at 11 pounds, 1/10 of an ounce, once I minus that 7 ounces. So basically 11 pounds on this. Now these are without a battery, by the way, no battery on these. And this one is 13 pounds, 4.5 ounces. So we got about 3 pounds, 4.5 ounces for the difference between the two. That's pretty significant, but this will more than make up for the weight in its raw power. So these tires are actually, they look similar, but these ones on the 4S are just a little bit smaller. But they are the same kind of tire, which is the D-Boots Fortress tires. This Mojave 6S does sit quite a bit taller than the 4S as well. It's also got more travel on its shocks, as you can see here. This one doesn't, and it's actually kind of one of the downsides of the truck. However, this truck I have here has a little bit of a mod. It's got different springs on it. Those are Techno springs, and so they help a little bit, but I think out of the box, that's one of the weak points of this truck, and it's likely to bottom out when you jump. So one of the more noticeable differences right away is the difference in chassis. This one comes with a composite plastic type chassis, whereas this one is aluminum. Now, I like the aluminum better, and that's why I put this aluminum bash bar on this one to give it a little more durability. The body also has some differences, starting with the clips. The clip system on the Mojave 4S comes with these little plastic clips. Those sort of keep the cotter pin in place when you clip it in. I'm not sure of the advantage of that, other than it protects the body, I guess, from breaking through. I haven't though had that problem with the Mojave 6S, and so to me it's just a little bit of an extra thing that gets in the way when you're trying to put the body on. Another difference on the body is that they've revamped this one to now come with a tub in the center here. This big plastic tub differs from the 6S, which doesn't have that. And the reason for it is that it protects dirt and debris from shooting into the chassis. That's one of the major problems with the 6S, is that if you bash it around enough, especially in grass, mud, or loose dirt, it shoots the dirt right into the center of this. And that's because this body's so big, it kind of catches it all and shoots it right in. And that can be a pain to try to clean out. So I'm glad that they did that with this. However, the downside of that advantage is that it makes it a little tricky to get this body on. You've got to line up these posts here with the holes in the side of the body. It's not impossible, but it takes some getting used to, and for a while here I have to fumble around with it, like right now, to line it up. Whereas this one's a lot easier to line up those holes and put on the body. So, some minor differences. So starting with this 4S, this comes with 120 amp electronic speed control, which is the Spectrum Firma system. And it's also got a 2400 kV motor here. As you can see, the motor is mounted into this composite system here for the center drive shaft. And similarly, the electronic speed control is mounted in sort of a grouping with this upside down servo and the receiver below it. I'm not a big fan of that because it's just a little hard to get to things when you want to. For example, to change out the receiver, you've got to get through a couple things to get to it. This Mojave 6S is a little more what I'm used to, since I usually drive 6S capable ARRMAs. This has got a unique setup with this 160 amp ESC, but traditionally it comes with the 150 amp Spectrum ESC and paired with the 2050 kV motor. Those are both Spectrum and they both rip. So although the stock version of this is 6S and the stock version of this is 4S, this is also a pretty fast truck and is rated at 50 plus miles an hour. This is rated at 60 plus out of the box. So you're definitely dealing with the faster, more powerful truck when you get the 6S. And with the 4S, it's a little slower, but it still holds its own. Now, both of these are known for being very durable, tough trucks. This one I worry about given all of the plastic composite. For example, this center drive shaft here is made out of plastic composite, whereas this is standard with your traditional metal drive shafts front and rear. The same with the dog bones coming to the wheels here. These are plastic and they've got some metal ends on them, whereas these are your standard metal dog bones. So time will tell just how durable this is, but it has had good reviews, so we'll see. They both have 3 differentials, with this center one being more towards the rear and this one being right in the center. Part of what makes these trucks so durable though is these big plastic bumpers that they've got. They both have a huge setup in the front and the rear that really protects the truck, as you can see. This one, I happen to have put a 3D RC bumper on that because these often crack. Also, the bodies themselves essentially protect the truck, as opposed to so many exposed parts, including the wheels. The tires are smaller and a little less wear and tear goes on the truck as a result because they're lighter. So let's put these to the test and see how fast they go using this trusty SkyRC GNSS-GPS. I'll put that in the description if you want an affiliate link to pick up one of these that I can also link. I got through a buddy on an eBay store, and I'll definitely hook that up as well. So as far as batteries for the speed run, I'll try to give this 4S as much of an advantage as I can here with this little bit better battery. 120C 8200 milliamp CNHL battery. It can actually be charged higher than 4.2, but I didn't do that in this case. So, but still, it's a good battery. And then I'll pair this 6S with this 6000 milliamp Z battery that is 100C. All right, so let's get out there and give it a test. We're gonna start with the 4S, the slower of the two. So it's not a matter of which car goes faster. This is more a matter of how much faster is the 6S. Blazing hot out here, as expected. But luckily we won't be running these for too long. One thing is, once you put this top on, you really can't get to the power button. So you gotta make sure to do that first. So I gotta connect to this camera up here, then connect to my GoPro, then connect to the GPS, then get the car, turn the car on. So now to make sure that this is working, good. Start. All right, let's do it. Geez, hoping no cars come. Yikes. Almost took myself out. That would have been fun. Stop. Read. 50 miles an hour even. Maybe try one more pass here. See what we got on that. Stop. Read. 51. All right, I broke the barrier. 51 for the Mojave 4S. Now let's see how much faster we got on our buddy 6S. So there you go. This one's obviously faster and it's a little hard to control, as you can see. This one wanted to go faster, it would wheelie, and this was smooth and steady. Now, handling off-road, this one is a little bit more like a realistic trophy truck or like a Baja style truck. And that's because the suspension is a lot more cush and sort of long travel. This one is a little more nimble, I would say, off-road, and you know, just because of the smaller scale, this would probably be a better truck for a beginner. Between the two, this one's a lot more realistic off-road. So that suspension just soaks up bumps and you can power slide, and it's really fun in that way. For jumps, I would say this handles them a little better. It's just an all-around more powerful and better suspension setup on the truck. So if you're newer to the hobby, you might want to try this. If you're looking for scale, realism, or raw power, go for this guy. The prices set them apart as well. At the time of recording, which is July of 2025, this one comes in at $679 in the US, and this one comes in at $569 in the US. So about $100 difference between the two. As I've driven them both a little longer, I'll be able to tell a little bit more about the durability between the two. And I'll also be able to do a little more off-road driving on them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video though, and let me know in the comments what you thought. Which truck do you prefer? And I'll put a link for both of these trucks in the description, so check those out if you're interested in one of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. See you in the next one.